A pleasant day, everyone. I am Jessa Saga, and welcome to Lesson 4, which tackles about affective assessment. So I am one of the presenters for the Lesson 4.2, which we will be answering the question, what is the taxonomy of affective domain in learning? But before we delve into the discussion proper, here are our learning objectives. So by the end of these lessons, students should be able to define the affective factors that are important in students' learning. Next, identify the taxonomy of affective behaviors in students' learning. And lastly is to demonstrate knowledge and understanding of the affective traits articulated in the basic education curriculum framework in one's field of specialization. First, what is affective domain? So affective domain was developed by David Krathwohl, Benjamin Bloom, the proponent of the Bloom's taxonomy, and Benjamin Masha in year 1964. So basically, the affective domain deals with the feelings, emotions, attitudes, interests, and values of the learners. So it focuses on how learners feel about learning, not just about what they know. So the affective domain delves deeper on what the learners know. So let's say, for example, a student may know classroom rules. So that is an example of a cognitive domain. But if the student chooses to respect and follow those rules, is an example of an affective domain already. So the affective domain ensures that the learning process isn't just about cognitive or knowing, not just about doing or the psychomotor, but should also involve caring, valuing, and becoming an emotionally intelligent individual. The affective domain has 5 levels. So, namely, first, the receiving, second, responding, third, valuing, fourth, organizing, and fifth is the characterizing. But I will only be discussing the first one, which is the receiving or to receive. So to receive is considered as the lowest and basic level of the affective domain, wherein learners are not yet reacting or participating. Learners are only noticing in this level. So the key characteristics are the learners only pays attention. They listen to the discussion without resistance. They listen to the teacher without resistance. They shows awareness of the learning activity, and the learners are mentally and emotionally present. Since there are classrooms that there are a lot of learners, but most of those learners are just physically present but are mentally absent. So there is no learning process that is happening in that classroom. Next is that a real life example of the receiving level. So a learner looking at the teacher during a lecture, listening quietly to the discussion, or watching a demonstration attentively. So this clearly demonstrates that the learner receives the knowledge that the learner is receiving. In this level, the learner does not respond to the teacher, since it is the since we are still in the first level. So remember that learning cannot happen without paying attention, because you cannot value something or respond to something that you never noticed. So that ends my part.